Alright, so I'm back, and we're going to take a look at Captain Hammerhand. And I love this thing. Oh man, does this bring me back. Jesus. More than the Birdman, I really hope they do the Rat. Or Vulture Man, I guess. This is such a good figure. And it just, like I said, it just brings me straight back to my childhood. And, how many times he went on a mission for Shredder to bring down my turtles. And I know, if you guys are watching this video before I watch the Vulture Man, you're probably sitting there like, what the fuck is he talking about? And as I said in the Vulture Man review, I have no connection to ThunderCats. I have no connection to the characters. I have nothing. I don't know anything about this. All I had was, I had this toy, Vulture Man, I don't know. I had those three. I traded them from a friend. No idea what they were. All I know is that they were big and posing, and they were going into my frontline troops for Shredder to fight my Turtles and my X-Men and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's where these guys came from my childhood. Had nothing to do with the actual show, and I couldn't be happier with them. That's why when I saw these guys come up on BBTS, I was like, I gotta get them. I have to get them. And then this is actually what spurred me into getting back into the Turtle line that they're doing too. Is just because it just reminds me of the fun I had with the Turtles when I was a kid. And it's like, man, I can't have Hammerhand and Vulture Man without the Turtles. So yeah. This guy is just... So I had the Vulture Man for a short period of time, and then I lost him. He still brings back a ton of memories because he was a pretty big villain. He was actually the bigger villain of the three. The Rat ended up working with Rat King forever, but this guy, he was in almost all of our adventures because he was just one of those hired-on goons for us. I don't know how close that is in the comics or in the show, but let me know in the comics if he was just a hired goon. That'd be pretty cool if I created his character very much like the like the cartoon. Anyway, head is on a ball peg. It's a pretty weird looking one too. So it's like a little bit of a posability from this is the ball peg. This whole thing here. They did a really good job matching this paint with the flesh tones, I think. So it just moves, it does rotate all the way around. So it does move. And then you just plug the head on. There you go. So you get left, right, a little up, a little down. All of that works pretty well. Looks pretty good sculpt wise. This shoulder rotates around, hinges up. There's a bicep swivel in there, and then there's also one right above the elbow. Elbow moves up and down, not the greatest range of motion, and then the hand hinges in and out and swivels around, and then I think this was the weird pose that this hand was in, something like this. But I think it was probably this hand. Yeah. There we go. Yep, I think that was the pose that he had, something like that. Man, I gotta go find... I don't know where it would be, though. Anyway. Waist seems to go side to side. It wants to swivel, but because the way the body armor sits, it just kind of doesn't move. And then there's a little bit of a swivel in the waist. Hips up to here, back to there. This is all rubbery. They did not match the yellows on this and this as well to the yellow plastics. I think it's coming off well in the camera so you can see it, but I think they did a terrible job with that. They go out to the side, thigh swivel. Bends at the knee. A foot hinges up and down. There's a rocker, and I think that's it. And then this one has the rocker as well and hinges up and down. It's a good range of motion there. This arm rotates around, bicep swivel, hinges at the elbow, hinges back. This is on similar to the that arm. So you plugs in, hinges up and down, and rotates. Alright, now for accessories, we already saw the hand. So he's got this kind of gripping hand, he's got a fist hand, and then he's got this I'm gonna get you hand, which I'm pretty sure was I'm almost positive that it was like this. Like, I don't know why. It was such a weird pose. I always thought it was strange. So with the gripping hand, you know, he does come with these little, he's got two of these little pouches. So, there's no, like, pegs in them. So you can't really, like, hang them from his belt. But, whatever. He does come with the alternate head. So it's the same head, essentially. Just the mouthpiece is, like, he's like, "Arr," and this one's all like, So it's kind of interesting that they did two full heads for just this one piece. Like, I think they could have just put a plug on here and just pulled the whole bottom of the beard out. I think that would have been easier and cheaper. But hey, what do I know? And then, and he does have this gripping hand with the rifle. I mean, obviously it's not connected. That would have been the way to do it, though. So he can hold this gun here. And then you can just untap this, plug this in, and there you go. It's alright, I guess. It's fine. Let's go to the fist hand. There you go. I'm not going to give him anything to hold because this is the attraction here. So this is his alternate hand. He's got two. This one is just one solid piece, so it doesn't really move or do anything other than up and down. This is like if he's going to be punching somebody with his fist. Or fisting somebody, like Fisto would say. He-Man. I only know that from Revelations. So plug this one in, and this is his actual posable hand. So he's got, each finger has one hinge in and out, which is better than the original toy, which was just rubber fingers. And then this one hinges as well. So if you have somebody small enough or something, you can actually have them gripping onto somebody. So here he is with Vulture Man, and he can be like, he ain't going nowhere. Starting to sound like him go over here. Not that that's a bad thing, but it's just yeah, so I'm ecstatic about this figure. I can't even express. I don't have any of the turtles in at this point, because like I said, I sold them all, and I'm in the process of getting them back. You know, one thing that is kind of a bummer, which, I mean, they can't really get around it, is the fact that they're so much smaller in comparison to the turtles than their original toys were. But it's like, how are you going to replicate that? I mean, that's a long shot to do, right? I mean, why would you? It would make no sense to do it that way. So I can't fault him for that. For me, it's like, oh man, I was really hoping these guys were massive. But, I mean, I can't see. There's no real logical reason for him to do it. But here they are with Bebop, who we will be looking at soon. I'm just waiting to get, Rocksteady and Shredder back in so that we can look at the team together at the end. Because we did Rocksteady. He was my first Super 7 review. I haven't looked at Shredder, so we got to look at Shredder. But I've got them all coming, so from various websites. So it's like I can't wait till we have them. But it's like I want to say he's about the same humanoid size as like April and Casey Jones would have been. I think I have to wait to get more characters in so that I can actually do a comparison. But I think, it actually, for the characters, I think they are going to scale well together. For the original toys, I don't think they'll scale very well together because they were huge versus the Turtles, which were small. So, like I said, I can't fault them for that, but it would be kind of cool to have a Hammerhand that's about the size of Shredder. And that way he's like, oh, he's a normal human. He's a human. He's not a giant man. And then he just looks like a regular mutant at this point. I think it's going to fit in just fine. For my purposes, anyway. I don't think there was very many other characters outside of the rat one that were floating around my collection that were like not really supposed to be there. Aside from like one or two He-Man guys, which I will pick up if I see them. From Super 7, Steel Jaw, or Trap Jaw, I think is one of them. And the little robot one, like the gears inside. I think that's it, really. I didn't have that many He-Man, Masters of the Universe figures. I mean, I had a lot of He-Mans. I don't know what was going on there. I kept getting He-Man this, He-Man that. It was like it got annoying because I know I had the regular He-Man. I had the He-Man that you'd like flip the chest over and it'd have battle damage. But again, like ThunderCats, I hardly ever watched the show because it was never on when I was a kid. I missed a lot of that. 80s stuff, but that doesn't mean I'm not nostalgic for the toys because, like I said, the toys still ended up in my collection because guess what? Either I traded them from friends or like most of my Turtles, because growing up real poor like we were, Mom couldn't take me to the store and buy me a whole bunch of Turtles, but she would take me to the thrift store and you'd be able to find almost any Turtles, He-Mans, and ThunderCats figures for anywhere from 25 cents to $1. And yeah, you miss out on the accessories, but you rather than having my mom take me to the store and spend $5 on one brand new turtle, she'd take me to the thrift store and she'd spend $4 or $5, and I would have a whole new set of figures. And just take them home, wash them up real good. Yeah, right. Like I ever did that. I always told her I did. But take them home, throw them out there with the Turtles, and we're ready to go. And it was a blast. It was the best, the best thing that ever happened in my collection was the thrift store. But that's a different story for a different day. Hammerhand, Captain Hammerhand. I didn't know he had a cap. What's funny is like I always called him Birdman, and then the rat one was just Ratman. I didn't know exactly what they were, but Hammerhand was always Hammerhand. I always called him Hammerhand, and I had no idea where I got the name. So it's funny that it's actually pretty close. Maybe I saw him in a cartoon when I was really young, and it's fed into my subconscious. But I always called him the Hammerhand. It's just. Or maybe it's just like a very fitting name for somebody that has a big giant metal hand. Anyway, this figure is awesome. I'm giving him a 9 out of 10. I think the only complaint I really have is the fact that they couldn't match the yellow plastic and paint as well as they can match like the skin tones and stuff like that. I think they did a fantastic job matching everything else. But in those two spots, I think they did a terrible job on the yellow. On the shelf, it's going to look fine, but I don't even have a shelf for these guys at the moment. I don't know what I'm doing. But yeah, this guy is awesome. 9 out of 10. solid figure. Cannot recommend him enough. If you remember this stuff, if you don't remember it, don't get it. But if you remember it, this is the best Hammerhand figure that I can imagine. Like, I cannot imagine it being better than what we just got here. I just pretty much same with the Vulture Man, aside from the joint tolerances, but he doesn't seem to have any of those. He stands just fine. He moves fine. There's nothing too tight, nothing too loose. It's just he's near perfect figure for me. Like, just like he checks all my boxes for what I want in a figure that's representing a toy I had as a kid, and just like it's screaming nostalgia for me. So it's just like super biased on this, of course. But I mean, that is the whole point of having a review channel where I can give you guys my opinion. So yeah, I guess that's all I got here. Looking forward to getting those turtles back in, and then review the ones that I missed, like Bebop here, a couple others, and then hopefully we'll get some of the newer ones in soon, and hopefully the girlfriend doesn't look at the finances at this point, because I spent way too much money. But that's all I got to say about that.